Left-hander. Spent a stint with AA and AAA last year. 113 innings pitched.
The former Buckeye, Tanner Tully, at a first pitch strike to Jonathan India. Cincinnati's leadoff man coming off a fantastic year. But, boy, this is a Cincinnati ball club that the roster really has been gutted in this abbreviated offseason. We'll get to that as the game goes along. But Tanner Tully, 27 years old, went to Ohio State. Swing and a miss at a high fastball. Game time temperature officially 79 degrees here in Goodyear.
You know, the tough thing to think about here, the first official workout was actually Tuesday. This is Friday, and they're starting their first game. So you really have to I'm sure Tito's worried a little bit, and as all managers are, about how quickly these guys are going to try and make themselves known.
Yeah, I think there's a little apprehension in every dugout today.
Yeah.
You're trying to tell your guys, look, don't go barreling out of the box at full speed just yet. In the dirt.
You know, the pitchers have just thrown a couple of sides and things like that. So, and that's the way I think this whole spring is going to go. It's a condensed version. You've got to be very careful.
Now the payoff pitch from Tanner Tully, and it's a ground ball foul. And for fans who are just tuning in, the pitchers that you're going to see today, now some of them are in big league camp, although the number of those guys who will pitch today are probably non-roster invitees to big league camp. The majority of the pitchers today will be the minor league guys who had a head start on all of these big league guys. That's a little high, ball 4. And so Jonathan India walks to lead off the game for Cincinnati, and the rest of David Bell starting 9. Joey Votto, certainly a familiar face in the 2-hole. Kyle Farmer back at the shortstop position. Tyler Stephenson, the DH. Nick Senzel in center field. Aristides Aquino is in right. Andrew Knapp will do the catching. Tucker Barnhart is now in Detroit. TJ Friedel is in left, and Alejo Lopez at third base batting 9th. Tanner Tully delivers, and it's a strike call to the outside corner. Tully, when he was at Ohio State, was named the Big Ten Freshman of the Year back in 2014. Other notables to win Big Ten Freshman of the Year honors: former Indians left-hander Scott Lewis, Nick Swisher, Scott Klingenbeck back in 1990 was an Ohio State Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Actually finished his big league career with Cincinnati. Joey Votto with a 2-ball, 1-strike count, swings through it. Tanner Tully, low 90s with the fastball. We've already seen that at 92. Breaking ball and a developing changeup that the Guardians feel will help his career.
I think he got the call.
Votto looking at a breaking ball over the outside corner. And, Rick, you can probably tell our viewers, for a left-hander, that slider effective against lefties, the changeup something that will help him against right-handed batters.
Yeah, and the one thing I'm looking for pitchers is you have to go out and just try and command your fastball early. You know, just to get a feel for it. You shouldn't see a lot of breaking balls today. I don't think everybody, and it's especially a little tougher out here where it's drier, to get a good spin on your breaking ball. There's one he's throwing right there, but you need the moisture, and it's tough to get out here.
Tully not overpowering, but that ball fisted foul off to the right. Left-handed pitcher with some finesse and getting an opportunity to show what he can do as a non-roster invite. So really, it's just a chance, just an opportunity to, hey, check him out, get a look, maybe make an impression. Fouled right back. Tully, like so many players, and this will be a common theme throughout today with the young players that we will see. He's a guy that really had to bounce back last year because 2020 was a lost season for all of those minor league players who were developing. Not that they had to go right back to square one, but it certainly didn't do them any favors. And last year he started out, Tully was 6-3 at Akron with a 2.68 ERA before getting an opportunity to pitch at the AAA level.
Yeah, I spent time in both places. 113 innings, which is the second most in the minor league system.
Fly ball center field. Miles Straw makes the catch. 2 down.
Well, let's check out the Guardians defense. And it should be familiar to you. Mercado is in left field. Straw is in center. Zimmer is over and right. On the infield from third to first, it'll be Ramirez, Rosario, Chang, and Bradley, with Hedges behind the plate.
Rick, you mentioned the number of innings that Tanner Tully pitched a year ago. One of the things that I know that Cleveland guys are excited about in terms of the player development people, Rob Cerfolio was telling us that he's so versatile for them. You know, he's worked anywhere from an inning, hey, go in there and get us an inning, up to 4 innings. So when you've got a guy like that, it gives him more options as a pitcher when it comes to, hey, do we need a spot reliever? Do we need a guy to maybe go and start a game for
I think that's how they're bringing along a lot of pitchers nowadays in baseball, with the relievers having such an impact.
Right center field, but Bradley Zimmer there to make the catch. And the inning is over, so a scoreless first for left-hander Tanner Tully. And the Guardians are coming to bat.
First and Knapp is behind the plate.
Miles Straw to lead it off. You know, Rick, there are question marks in the Indians outfield except in center field, where once the Indians made the deal with Houston to pick up Miles Straw, he stepped in and never looked back, took over that job and the leadoff spot on the batting order as well. Kyle Farmer able to field that ground ball without incident and throwing out Miles Straw for out number 1. Nick Lentz calling the balls and strikes here this afternoon. Chris Guccione, the crew chief, Malachi Moore, and Ryan Wills on the bases.
The thing the umpires do in spring training, those guys that are out on the bases, they will rotate throughout the course of the game to get a feel for every base.
Ahmed Rosario last year batted .282, and he flirted with .300 throughout much of the season. 11 homers, but 25 doubles and 6 triples. As great a base runner as Jose Ramirez is, I enjoyed watching Ahmed Rosario run the bases about as well as anybody.
He's as fast as anybody. I'd like to see him and Miles in a foot race because it would be interesting. He had a terrific month of August last year, if you remember. Ended the month with 5 hits in Kansas City, inside the park home run. This guy, he really was exciting to watch, and he took over. He really settled in after he got out of the outfield and back into the infield where he was playing shortstop.
Mm-hmm. Boy, nice pitch by Lodolo. Took a little something off. 82-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Strikes him out 2 down.
Well, you can see what a good breaking ball will do an at-bat to a hitter early in spring that hasn't seen many pitches at all. He changed speeds and put it in a very good location. And he ended up getting the swing and miss.
And now Jose Ramirez. Fastball strike, and just in a couple of batters here, you can see why Cincinnati likes Lodolo. Fastball mid-90s. He's 6'6".
Yeah, actually, he does. He's got long legs. That ball may get on you in a hurry. And, you know, we talking to Tito this morning, in his press conference. He would like to see his good hitters up in the top of the lineup at least get 2 at-bats today. Sometimes you can't do that. You don't know if you go down 1, 2, 3. But he'd like the good guys up there at the top to get a couple of ABs.
Ground ball to third. And Lopez throws it out. The Guardians go 1, 2, 3. And we are scoreless after 1 in Goodyear.
New car inventories are tight, but it might.
No score, second inning. Tanner Tully working a scoreless first after issuing a leadoff walk to Jonathan Indian. Sent him down in order after that. Now Nick Senzel leads it off. And misses just up high, ball 1. Joined now by Chris Antonetti. It's been an interesting offseason, to say the least, for an organization that's going through a name change and then a long, protracted collective bargaining situation that has you guys, as soon as that thing was ratified, it was almost like, okay, time to get to work. And there's probably a lot on your plate right now as we speak.
No question. I think, first and most importantly, we're back playing baseball, which is what we all wanted, and we're going to get 162 games in. So it was a little bumpy getting here, but I think we're all overwhelmingly excited that baseball's back and we can focus back on the field. But for us, it's, we're trying to take 3 months of an off season and condense it down to a couple weeks. So it's a really busy time.
I mean, how crazy has it been, though, as far as trying to field calls, which I know you get lots of calls, and you're also trying to make your own inquiries as to who might be available, how you can improve your roster, and it's such a fluid situation. I mean, it was like as soon as the gates opened, there were free agents signing. It was hard to keep up.
Yeah, no question. There was and continues to be a lot of dialogue, not only among teams, but with agents. And I think we've shared that we went into the offseason feeling really good about the young players we have at the major league level and guys we're excited to see this year, as well as a really healthy farm system with a wave of players we feel is on the cusp of contributing. So I think what we've seen in our dialogue with other teams is that other teams feel similarly about a lot of those players. So we're encouraged by what's in front of us.
You got to be a little apprehensive about the way everybody here. You got to be careful because they're started Tuesday.
Yeah.
We're in games today. You don't want any of these young players to go out there and try and do too much too soon, do you?
That's a huge part of it. That was part. It's like you're on a fly on the wall in our meetings with each player. Arch, we talked about exactly that. That we need, obviously we're going to be playing games early, and we need to get, we need to be prepared for that. But at the same time, it's about how do we make sure we prepare guys and the team for the full season. And that's a delicate balance because we want to come out of the gates and compete as well as we can, but we want to do it in a way that, isn't going to put guys at risk.
And you think about it, you'll be here for 3 weeks and then into the cold weather, once you leave here. So that's hard to do.
It is really hard to do. The good news is a lot of our players put in a lot of work in the offseason. So that might have been one of the most difficult things about the lockout is we just couldn't talk to players, so we had no sense as to where they were. So it was really, let's see how they show up. And our guys, not surprisingly, given how professional they are, they all came in a really good place.
Well, in 2020, when we started the season, it seemed like all those pitchers had a little competition. They stayed healthy. They competed against each other, and you came out of the chutes, and it was a very good year there.
Yeah, no question. That was one of the things that really helped was the work that those guys put in advance of the season starting. So, and guys have done that again here, but, with our rotation especially, it's going to be a challenge to build them up to a full workload. So we'll figure that out and build them up as far as we can in the safest way possible.
Boy, Tanner Tully putting on a display here has struck out 3 of the last 5 batters that he has faced, and with 2 down, Andrew Knapp steps in last year with Philadelphia. Swing and a miss. Chris, last year you were the youngest team in baseball. I would imagine this year there's a pretty good chance, depending on what happens between now and opening day, you'll be in that situation again. How much do you wrestle with the idea of, I knew this was going to happen, 2 outs, fly ball, right field.
Perfect timing.
And I will hold that question, Andre, until the other side of the break. A 1-2-3 second for Tanner Tully. 2 scoreless frames for the Buckeye left-hander. No score, second inning. Tanner Tully.
The MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch by.
Really, the biggest calculus for us is if we, bring players in, who does that displace, and who is that taking?